My name is Lois Koffi. I'm here in San Diego, California. Super excited and fired up to introduce to you our featured presenter. I met Eric actually back in 2007 during the Great Recession. I don't know how that impacted you, but I'll certainly never forget how it impacted me. I went from, working in an office, having a great career, multiple six figures, and then all of a sudden, poof, gone overnight. I lost everything, including my office, and I jokingly call it, I was shelter in place, not because of a pandemic. I had my own pandemic. It was like, how do I work from home? How do I do things? I couldn't find a job back then. I mean, jobs were hard to find. And we have, so many unemployed people now and such a similar parallel universe that I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Some of the things that I learned from Eric back then, I'm monetizing still to this day, and I've fallen in love with working from home. I'm falling in love with productivity and being able to create and do virtual selling. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead. I know Eric is going to share more of his story, but he's a top-notch sales professional, made seven figures working from home since the 90s, if you believe it or not. And I'm going to go ahead and shut up and let Eric take over from here. Thank you, Eric.
Fantastic. Well, Lois, thanks so much for the wonderful introduction. I want to welcome all of you to this special training tonight. My hope is to deliver information that can help you create a breakthrough. And we're in this, very unique, challenging time. And I want to acknowledge all of you for coming out to this Zoom tonight, because the fact that you're here right now, or if you're watching the replay of this, you're being proactive. And I think that's really, it's one of the best things that we can do right now, because the chips are going to fall how they're going to fall. And the stock market's going to do whatever it's going to do. Millions and millions and millions of people have been laid off. Countless millions have been affected that haven't been laid off. And it's very challenging. It's very rough out there. And we can be proactive. And you guys are demonstrating that by being here tonight. One of the big pivot opportunities is to sell virtually. And some of you, like Lois, you've been doing this for many years. I actually started selling over the phone in 1992. So I've been selling from without meeting people face to face since then. I've done a lot of face to face selling as well. Some of you, though, all of a sudden you have to sell virtually now. You've got to prospect virtually. You're using social media perhaps in a different way. You're using technology tools like Zoom, GoToWebinar, Facebook Messenger, and all of a sudden these are brand new things that you're having to learn on the fly. And so we're going to be talking about virtual selling. We're going to be talking about selling in general. I wanted to address this idea of why do we feel the way that we're feeling right now. And I do a lot of coaching calls, one-on-one calls. Lois is a client of mine. I have clients all over the world that I work with. And I was talking with a client recently, and she's in New Zealand, and she herself is a coach. And she was so mentally paralyzed by what's happening that she lost all of her drive to go out and prospect. And she was really beating herself up over, like, I'm a coach and why can't I get myself to go out and be productive? And if any of you are feeling that way at all, just know that we've all been under trauma. And there's literally billions of people that are under trauma. I'm under trauma right now. My family's under trauma. And I just really encourage you to be kind to yourself, kinder than you normally are, to be compassionate with yourself, to be patient. And if you have some bad days, to be tolerant and accepting of that. What I would kind of compare it to, it's not the same, but it is, it's to grieving, and you're all old enough to have, you almost certainly have all lost somebody that you care about, and you went through a grieving process, and you had your days when you cried because you were grieving, or you felt sad, or it was just the process that you went through. So we're kind of going through something like that. And my encouragement for you is just to be really understanding if you're feeling that. And I've had some days, even though I'm a professional motivator, that have been rough. And in being understanding of it, it's helped me to stay productive. There's 3 ways to elevate your sales results: inner game, outer game, and action. So inner game, you could probably guess it's dealing with mindset, belief systems, confidence, the mental side of selling, the mental side of prospecting, asking for the order, doing virtual sales in the first place. So that's the inner game. The outer game is the how-tos. Every how-to technique can be learned. So how to do a Zoom, how to upload your Zoom photo, how to do a video, how to do YouTube, how to close, how to generate leads. Every how-to technique can be learned, and that's a very empowering thought, because all the things we're going to talk about tonight are things that you can learn. If you have the desire to, I can get you good at sales. I can get you great at sales. If you want to get a black belt in influence like Lois, Lois is already elite, but she wants to go to an even higher level. So that's what I'm supporting her with. The third part there is action. And that's motivating yourself to get out there and do what you need to do in order to successfully build your business. So my number one sales tip for you, my number one sales idea is called continuous sales improvement. And I've been in sales since 1992. And I've given considerable thought to what's allowed me to do millions and millions of dollars in sales, what's allowed me to train people all over the world. What's the secret sauce, if you will. And it really comes down to the desire to get better. And I've never stopped that. So it's not like, okay, I'm good enough now, I'm done learning, I don't need to learn anymore. I'm always in the mindset of getting better. You might have heard the quote from Jim Rohn, work harder on yourself than you do in your job. And Jim Rohn he's one of the great all-time motivators. So a little background about myself. I was very successful right out of high school. My first job that I ever had right out of high school, I made over $100,000. Would you agree that's pretty good? Very first job right out of high school, swing of the bat, came out of the gate, made over $100,000, but I didn't make over $100,000. That would have been a great story. No, I made over 100,000 hamburgers. I was a cook at McDonald's. And when I was working at McDonald's, I was going to community college, and you're supposed to go to community college for 2 years. I went for 5 years, never graduated. I never got that elusive AA degree. At least it was elusive for me. So it's not exactly on the fast track to success. I had no goals at that point in my life, no direction. I was just kind of wandering aimlessly through life, and everything changed for me, and I experienced a turning point. And my turning point happened when I met my first mentor. And I've been fortunate that I've had several mentors in my life that have helped me see the greatness that exists inside of me. And we all have greatness inside of us. And when I was a cook at McDonald's, and then this is me at my first sales job, I was very stylish back then, as you can tell from this photo, had my purple pants and my matching plaid socks. And at this company, I was the bottom producer. So I had very low self-esteem, and I wasn't able to see greatness inside of myself. And what happened was I had other people mirror that for me. So what I want to do tonight for all of you, to the best of my ability, is I want to mirror your greatness. I want you to see a little bit more of you than maybe you've seen before. I want you to see possibility that maybe you haven't seen before. I want you to know that there are aspects of you that are genius. It doesn't mean every single thing about you is genius. It means that there's parts of you that are genius, and you have natural gifts and talents. You have greatness inside of you. I believe in you. And so what happened for me when I worked at this job and I was the bottom producer, and I was told if I didn't hit my quota, I was going to be let go. So I'm about to be fired because I don't know how to sell, and I meet this gentleman. This is a photo of me with Dr. Donald Moyne. And Dr. Moyne is arguably the brightest sales mind living today. He's a very brilliant man, and he took me under his wing, and he trained me. while I was a bottom producer at this company. And at the end of after working with Dr. Moyne, I hit the quota that month that I was about to be fired by one sale. I did 10,500 in gross sales. The following month, I did 51,000. I went from worst to first in 60 days, and I've never looked back. I've gone on to do millions and millions of dollars in sales. And what I learned from that experience is that selling is a learned skill. Every one of you watching this right now, listening to this right now, live or on the replay, you have potential inside of you to perform at a higher level in your sales results. There's a concept that I call future you. There exists in you a future you that has potential to produce results far superior to the results that you're currently producing. You and only you can access that potential. I'm going to say that one more time. There exists in you a future version of you that has potential to produce results far superior to the results that you're currently producing. You and only you can access that potential. So even back here when I was this bottom producer, I had this potential inside of me, and my mentor, Dr. Moyne, helped pull that out of me. I then sprungboard that opportunity. I went and worked for Tony Robbins. A lot of you have heard of Tony Robbins before. I worked for Tony for 3 years. I kept working on my skills, started my own company, started doing business with people like the great Les Brown. And here, he and I are team teaching together. I kept working on my skills, started doing business with, some people might say, this is the Michael Jordan of sales training, the great Tom Hopkins. Kept working on my skills, and I ultimately ended up getting on the Get Motivated stage, which is a very prestigious seminar circuit in my industry, the same stage Zig Ziglar was on when he was alive, because I kept working on my skills. So I acknowledge all of you for being here tonight, and we're going to dive right in. I'm going to give you guys some great content. I have 2 outcomes for tonight's webinar. My first outcome is to give you at least 7 specific ideas of things you can do immediately to make more sales. My second outcome, if you would like to continue to train with me beyond tonight's webinar, I have a special that I put together for as little as $25 a month. The last time I offered my mentoring at that price point was 2009, when the global economy did what it did. I just don't want money to stand in the way. If you would like my help to have money be an obstacle. So that's the reason why I priced it as low as $25. And I'll give you all the details on that at the end of class. So continuous sales improvement. This is my son here. He's 8 or 9 years old in this photo. He's obviously dribbling a basketball. And he's out there in the driveway dribbling this ball because that's what I instructed him to do. It wasn't intuitive for him to do this, but here's what I saw in my son. I saw this. This is my son at age 14. He's obviously dribbling 2 balls here, and he obviously got better at dribbling. And so I instilled this mindset in my son. Now, my son, he retired from basketball his junior year in high school, so he doesn't do basketball formally anymore. But I gave him the blueprint to get better at anything, which is this concept of continuous sales improvement. Now, a lot of you have Netflix, and we're on the shelter in place, so maybe you've been watching some Netflix. I've been watching some Netflix, and I watched this series called The Pharmacist, and I want to invite you to, maybe watch it if you like the story I'm about to tell you. This gentleman, he's a regular guy. He happens to be a pharmacist, and his son was tragically killed in a drug deal gone bad, 17-year-old son. So he wants to find out who killed his son, like probably any parent would. And the cops, it happened in a really crime-ridden part of New Orleans. And the vibe he got was, yeah, we understand your son was killed, but this is just normal down here. We're not going to go out of our way to solve this murder mystery. He was committed, though, to solving the murder mystery. And he's not a private detective. He's just a regular guy. He's a pharmacist. He was so committed, he got the white pages. He found the street that his son was killed on. He went through the white pages, and in the white pages back in the day, it had the addresses of where people lived. He found the nearby streets. He cold called. And the script went something like this. Hi, so-and-so. My name's so-and-so. My son was killed on a street nearby where you live on this date in the evening. Do you know anything about what happened to my son? And then the first person he called said, no, I have no idea. And he called another person. I have no idea what happened to your son. He called another person. I have no idea. No, no, no. For months, he got no's. And then finally, after months of doing this, one day he calls this woman, same script. Son was killed on the street nearby where you live on this date. You know what happened to my son? She goes, yes, I saw what happened to your son. I know who killed your son. That woman testified against the person that did it. That person went to prison, which is that's very dangerous for that woman to, quote unquote, snitch against somebody in the community. And she just felt led to do it. There's much more to the story. He ultimately, this gentleman, the pharmacist, takes on Purdue Pharma, who's the manufacturer of OxyContin. Purdue Pharma sold $35 billion in OxyContin and got all these people addicted to opioids and all these overdoses, and it's all well documented if you're not familiar with that. He took on Purdue Pharma and got legislation changed out of his commitment, just a regular guy. So why am I telling you this? Because we have coronavirus. We have the entire world has been changed instantly, and we've all been affected. And I want to motivate, invite, and encourage you to have this situation bring out the Superman or Superwoman side of your personality. You, like this gentleman, the pharmacist that Netflix did the movie about, you have all these aspects of yourself, as I do. There's the kindest version of you. There's the most motivated version of you. There is the highest leader in you. There is the best salesperson in you. There's the best prospector. There's the most confident side of you. There's the most loving, the most compassionate side of you. And my encouragement for you is to have the coronavirus motivate you to bring out in you the best version of you right now for your business. The best version of you if you happen to be married or have a significant other. I'm married. The best version of the best husband of me. I have children. Maybe you have children like me. The best parent in you. I want to invite you to use, you probably have heard of this idea in personal development. What is your why? What's your reason to succeed, right? And maybe we got bills to pay, so that's your motivation or whatever, right? Whatever your why is, whatever's motivating you to be listening to this message right now, I want you to consider having the coronavirus be your motivation to bring out the best version in yourself. And that's what I'm choosing to do. I'm doubling down in my business. And I don't know if doubling down is the right solution for you. But whatever it is, whatever the best version of you looks like, I want to encourage you to consider that possibility. This is a quote from a real estate agent who was very successful in a down economy many years ago. And she said, buyers are buying and sellers are selling and nothing else matters. So here's what that means to me. As a motivator and as a professional sales trainer, there are people out there right now that want and need my help, that can afford my services, that are ready to hire me. Having said that, there are other people out there that maybe because of the coronavirus, that is a reason that they wouldn't hire me right now, right? So I'm not going to focus on that. I want to focus on finding the people that want and need my service. But that's true all the time. In any economy. In the most booming economy, there's people out there that are going to say no to you. In the most booming economy, there's people that are going to say yes. In the most challenging economy, there's going to be people that are going to say no to you. In the most challenging economy, there are people that are going to say yes to you. So what I do during business hours is I put on the blinders as best I can, and I go out and I produce. Production doesn't have to just be sales. It can be prospecting. It could be me working on my skills. It could be me doing things to maintain a positive mindset. So I'm going to focus on the things that I can control. Your next tip has to do with mindset. I want you to work on your own self-talk. We talk to ourselves at up to 500 words a minute. Your conversation with yourself about you is largely determined by several factors, including how you were raised. Most of you were raised by your parents. Not everybody's raised by their parents, most people. So your parents influenced when you were very, very young how you talk to yourself. any bosses that you've had, any coaches that you've had, any teachers that you've had, any mentors, your current spouse or significant other, if you're in a relationship, your parents if they're still alive. These are all factors on how we talk to ourselves. But here's the question. What are you saying to yourself? Many times people will say to me in a coaching call, Eric, I am my harshest critic. And I learned to become my number one cheerleader. So my self-talk now, I focus on positive and I focus on my progress and I don't beat myself up and I don't focus on the negative. So I just want you to be in the self-inquiry when our webinar is done here. And I want you to think about, are you being kind to yourself? Are you your number one cheerleader? Let's talk a little bit about sales and sales mindset. Why learn sales? Selling is a style of communication that increases the likelihood that the other person says yes. To me, that's what sales is. So why have I wanted to learn sales? Because I want more yeses. I want more yeses when I'm inviting people to things. I want more yeses when I'm asking somebody for an appointment. I want more yeses when I'm delivering a sales presentation. When I ask my kids, yesterday I asked my kids, because they're on shelter in place, just like so many kids, right? I've got 3 teenage daughters in my house right now. So I asked my daughters, I said, look, I want you to take the dogs out for a walk. 15 minutes. That's what I want. So they take the dogs out for a walk for 9 minutes. It's like, I asked you to do 15, they did 9. So today I asked them to take them for a walk again and asked for 15 minutes again. And I talked to them about yesterday and how they didn't follow through yesterday. And they did it today. They followed through. They did what I wanted them to do. So that, in my world, is sales. I'm influencing them to do a certain thing, in this case, to take the dog for a walk. So why would you want to learn sales? To get more yeses in your life. Embracing sales. What do you think of when you think of a salesperson? Here's the most common answers I get. I've asked this question of thousands of people all over the world. Arm twisting, high pressure, manipulation, used car sales, liar, slick, fast talker. So if your mindset about sales is this, here's what that does to you in business. Let's say you and I are going to do a race, running race, 100-yard dash. And we're the same speed. You and I are exactly the same speed. Except in this race, you've got to put on a backpack. And there's 15 pounds of weight in this backpack. So without the backpack, we're the same speed. I say, okay, here's the game. You get to run the race with the backpack. So now we're going to run the race, 100-yard dash. Who's going to win? I'm going to win every time. Because now you're running with this backpack. So we can have mindsets that prevent us from our highest level of our potential. So I would suggest, if you're resisting sales and you're trying to make sales, you're trying to recruit, trying to book appointments, trying to ask people to buy your products and services, if you have resistance to sales, it's like running that race with a 15-pound backpack. So we have a paradigm shift in our thinking. Things only have the meaning that we give them. This is a profound idea. It's not my idea, it's something I learned. Things only have the meaning that we give them. So what does that mean? That means you can change the meaning to things. You can change the meaning about your past. We all have a past. And some people, they're holding on to negative events that have happened in the past. So I'll just give you a little example. I got divorced, I got remarried. So got divorced, now I was a single dad. So here I got these 2 young kids, and I'm like, I do not want to raise 2 young kids by myself. That's like, how do single parents do it? If any of you are single parents, you know how hard it is. So I wanted to get remarried. So started dating. Well, some of the women that I was dating, likely at my age, they were divorced too. So they had a quote unquote, failed relationship, just like me. Except I had healed a lot from that relationship. And sometimes I'd go on a date with somebody and they were still pissed off at their ex-husband, right? So we're on the date, and I can tell they're holding on to this, right? So it kind of didn't really make it work where we could have a relationship, because if they're all bitter at their ex-husband, right? So that's a simple example in life. When we hold on to the past, it can prevent us from attracting in new and better. So I just want to talk to you about just the concept of becoming more successful in your life. I'm guessing you're like me and Lois. You want to become more successful, because why else would you be on a Zoom webinar to learn how to be more successful, right? So we want to become more successful. So part of it is learning how to think different. So I thought a certain way when I worked at McDonald's, not like how I think now. I thought a certain way when I dropped out of college, not how I think now. I thought a certain way when I was a bottom producer in sales, not how I think now. So what am I suggesting to you? I'm suggesting that if we open up our thinking to new and different ways of thinking, and we learn new blueprints, you can skyrocket your success. So that's what this conversation is about with sales. So here's what I teach. Selling equals service. Sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. So instead of going, it's arm twisting, high pressure manipulation, that's like running the race with the backpack on. It's selling equals service. Sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. So we let go of resistance. We embrace sales. And that thought creates a whole new possibility. So I want you just to be open to the idea that you can get better. And I want you to consider what that could look like for you. So if you got better and you started making more money, what would that change for you in your life? What options would that open up for you? Maybe you have a message you want to get out to the world. Maybe you want to grow a team to a certain size. Maybe you want to become debt-free. Maybe you want to become a homeowner. Maybe you want to become a real estate investor. We all have different goals and dreams of what it is that we want to do. So this is a client of mine right here, and I don't have time to go into the whole story, but the bottom line is this. He was like this to sales, and now he's like this. He's a photographer and a videographer. I have more content I want to share, so I'm gonna shift from there. With the coronavirus, pivot the benefits of your product or service to convey why people should buy now. So you want to create a pivot in people's thinking around how your product or service will help people. So the scripting you use pre-coronavirus, it might still work. It might not. So you want to think about how to communicate your message differently to align with how people are thinking now. I want to give you a piece of content that could be a game changer for you. It's how Lois got all of you here on this Zoom. It's how anytime you book an appointment, it's how you get the appointment booked. It's $1 million prospecting mindset. So I asked this question of audiences all over the world. How many of you would agree that it would be in your best interest to do more prospecting? And I asked that question. And when I asked that question, people almost universally agree, you know what, Eric, I should do more prospecting. The follow-up question to that is, why don't more people do it? If they know they should be doing it, what's the number one reason why people don't do more prospecting? And the answer is the most obvious one: fear of rejection. So when I prospect, I closed one of the biggest deals of my life today. And here was the deal that I closed. So I've written a number of books. This is one of my books that I've written. And I'm working on a new book right now. And it's going to be out in about a year. Well, this book I self-published. And I want a publisher. So I get my books in the bookstore. Morgan James is the publisher of Brandon Burchard. Some of you know that name. Russell Brunson, they published from Russell Brunson and others. I prospected Morgan James and got a meeting with the owner, and I delivered a presentation to him about publishing my next book, And today I got the contract and they approved me today, which is like huge for me. But I'm going to tell you what gave me the confidence to prospect the owner of this company, and you can model this. And this can help, it can help you do more prospecting. So I want you to really listen to what I'm going to teach you right now. The rhythm of prospecting is no, 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 yes. That means you reach out to somebody and then they're like, no. You reach out and say, hey, come to my Zoom meeting. They go, no. Let's book an appointment. No. Buy my product. No. You reach out to another person. They say no, or they ignore you. You reach out to another person. And this can be done over the phone, direct message over LinkedIn, Facebook. It could be a text, could be an email. Variety of ways to prospect. So you reach out, no. You reach out, no. Another person, no. No, 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 yes. That's what happens in real world prospecting. So that pattern holds true when I reach out to the owner of Morgan James to publish my book. In other words, I know going in, statistically, he's going to say no to me. So mentally, I'm already prepared for that. My mindset is no's are no big deal. No's are no big deal. So what I do is I take prospecting and I separate prospecting from the result. I separate prospecting from the result. Here's what most people do. Most people, they combine prospecting and the result. So that's win or lose. All right. In other words, if I'm combining prospecting and the result, if I prospect and I book the appointment, I win. If I prospect and they say no or they ignore me, I lose. That's most people. So I prospect and I get quote unquote rejected. I lose. Now, you reach out to somebody. If that's your mindset, if you combine prospecting, the activity and the result, you combine it and you lose. Now here's what happens. You have to absorb it. You absorb the loss. You absorb the loss, right? So you reach out, reach out, reach out. And some people, they mastered taking that abuse. So they're absorbing all, but they're so strong that they prospect anyway. But they're just absorbing all this all day long. And it's really hard on them, but they suck it up and they do it. I don't want to absorb blows all day long. So here's how I do it. Watch this. Prospecting, result. So if today I'm going to reach out to 10 people and I reach out to 10 people, Eric, great job. I win either way. Let's say I'm supposed to reach out to 10 and I only reach out to 5. I want you to ask yourself, what would you do? Based on what I'm teaching you, you're separating prospecting activity from result. But you're supposed to, over here, you're supposed to do 10, but you only do 5. So just check in with yourself. What would you do? A lot of people would go, man, you're supposed to do 10, you only did 5, and they would beat themselves up. They'd be hard on themselves. Let me show you what I do. I'm supposed to do 10, I only do 5. Eric, great job. You go, huh? Okay, I'm supposed to do 10, I only do 1. What would you say to yourself? You're supposed to do 10, you only do 1. I say, Eric, great job. Now, let me ask you this. I'm supposed to do 10, I do 0. Now what do I do? Well, I'm not going to acknowledge myself because I didn't do anything. So if I do 0, it's neutral. I don't beat myself up. I don't call myself an idiot. I don't call myself a loser. Early in my life, I had a different conversation because I didn't know what I'm teaching you right now. So here's what this allows me to do. I get to win every day. All I have to do is show up and give effort, and I get to win. And what does that do for my self-esteem and my confidence? It goes way up. This was the mindset that allowed me to prospect the owner of Morgan James. It was like this. I reached out to Morgan James to swing the bat to get him to publish my book, and I go, Eric, great job. And then I got the double great job today because I got the contract signed. So I'm going to tell you guys a quick story about this gentleman. This is a photo of me with my son and NBA Hall of Famer Rick Barry. Rick Barry's one of the top basketball players of all time, and I wanted him to train my son. So I prospected him over Facebook. I sent him this message, long story short, Rick, will you work with my son one-on-one? And he agreed. So my son and I flew to Colorado. We live in California. We hopped on a plane. We flew to Colorado to spend this afternoon. We spent 3 hours with NBA Hall of Famer Rick Barry. So let's see if you got it. What gave me the confidence? So I'm going to prospect Rick Barry, activity, results. So I got the result, but what gave me the confidence? When I prospected him, I got to win. Eric, great job for prospecting NBA Hall of Famer Rick Barry. It's probably not going to work because the rhythm of prospecting is no, 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 yes. So it's unlikely it's going to happen, but at least you have a chance. And then it happened. So what I'm teaching you there, that could be absolutely gold for you. I've got a couple more ideas I want to share with you guys, and then we're going to wrap up. I'm going to extend an invitation for you to train with me for $25 a month. My offer, it's a lifetime of coaching with me. You don't have to pay the $25 for life. You just pay it for a period of time, and then the payments stop. And you can continue to train with me. You can put me on your success team. And what I will do for you, just like what I'm doing today, is I'm going to mirror your greatness. I'm going to give you practical ideas, blueprints that work, the exact strategies that took me from a cook at McDonald's to a top producer to an international trainer to help you become the best version of yourself. And what I'll tell you is that if you will try the things I'm asking you to do, it can be a game changer for you. The last time I did a Zoom for Lois, there was a gentleman that was on the Zoom and he signed up and he emailed me today. And he asked me some questions. He had a very specific couple of situations that he wanted my help on. And I delivered some potentially life-changing information to him, game-changing information. All right, we're going to continue on here. We're going to talk about a sales process that I teach. This is it here. And I'm all about practical ideas that work. So what you're looking at here is the outline of an effective sales presentation, and I call it Sales Mountain. So what I do when I'm training sales is I don't like to look at sales as this big concept. I like to take individual pieces of sales, like with my son with basketball, dribbling with the right hand, one piece, dribbling with the left hand, shooting three-pointers, shooting free throws, conditioning, mindset. So what we do is we just work on one piece at a time. So he can just work on his right hand. Okay, now he's better at his right hand. It makes his overall basketball better. Same principle applies in sales. So if you look on the screen here, it says lead generation, appointment setting, trust and rapport, identify customer needs, share the benefits, close, objection handling, follow-up, etc. So the way I train is we pick one of these, like share the benefits, if you see that on the screen. We forget everything else, and we work just on that because people buy benefits. And you want to get really clear on the benefits of your product or service, and then you want to get better at how do you communicate those benefits in a way that land with your prospect. So instead of thinking about sales, we pick one aspect and we get better. And then we pick another aspect and we get better. And then we pick another aspect and we get better. What I teach is to work on your skills 15 minutes to an hour a week for the rest of your life. Like literally for the rest of your life, 15 minutes to an hour. And the reason I picked 15 minutes to an hour is because it's doable. We're all busy. We all have the things going on in life. Some of us are parents and we've got whatever we got career-wise and work-wise, and we're all busy. But we all have 15 minutes to an hour a week. So what I like to do is instill a mindset in you of continuously getting better. And if you get a little bit better and a little bit better, it all starts adding up and you'll continue to improve. So this is the concept that I teach. And I want to give you one last golden nugget today. I'm going to make the offer and then we can take some questions if anybody has any questions that you guys would like to ask. So this is something that my mentor, Dr. Moyne, taught me in the 1990s. When you learn an idea, it goes on your success tool belt and you have it for the rest of your life. Okay? There's a distinction between motivation and skill building. Zig Ziglar was famous for saying motivation is like taking a bath. You got to do it every day because of the ups and downs of life. Skill building, though, once you learn a skill, you have it forever. Once you learn how to get your photo on Zoom, like a Facebook profile photo, you know how to do it forever. Once you learn how to do a Zoom, once you learn how to do anything, get a referral, prospect over Facebook, all right? So Dr. Moyne said, Eric, figure out the success stories you're going to tell before you present in the order that you're going to tell them in. So that's the tip for you. Anytime you're presenting, virtually or in person, determine the success stories you're going to tell in the order that you're going to tell them in. So I'm going to tell you a couple of my success stories. I can help you, doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter if you sell over the phone, face-to-face, group sales, in person, it makes no difference. This woman, Nicole, she sells solar. So until recently, it was a kitchen table presentation. She'd meet somebody in the home and she'd deliver a kitchen table presentation. And here's what was going on with her. She was uncomfortable asking for the order. So she had a mindset that was acting as an obstacle. Remember the resistance? It's like running the race with the 15-pound backpack. But Nicole she's so determined and she's so persistent. She was number 2 in her company. And the way she did it is she'd go in the home, she'd deliver the presentation, she would be very uncomfortable asking for the order. The person would say, I need to think about it. And she was like the master of follow-up. And she would just follow up, and she would eventually get a bunch of these sales. So she's making over $100,000 a year, number 2 in the company, but she's having to work way harder because of her mindset. And so I coached her on that. And I got her comfortable asking for the order. I got her comfortable with the language on what to say. The month after I trained her, she closed 16 deals in 1 month, her best month ever in 7 years of selling solar. Now that she has the new mindset to comfortably ask for the order, she has that skill set for the rest of her life. Now, I don't know if asking for the order is an issue for you. We all have the things that are holding us back. So you learn these skills, you get better trust and rapport. You learn how to prospect on Facebook. You get better over the phone. You learn how to ask for the order. And you build your skills. And that's what this conversation is about. This is a story about a financial advisor. His name is Doak Belt. That's Doak there in the middle with his wife Bear and his son Caden. Doak was making about $30,000 a year as a financial advisor. He had never been professionally trained in sales. No wonder he was barely making enough money to pay his bills. He had never been professionally trained. Think about yourself. Have you ever been professionally trained, like college level education on sales? Doak hadn't. So I trained him. He's in my lifetime program. He can continue to train with me for the rest of his life. We got his income up in some cases to $25,000 a month. The property in the background there is one of 6 rental properties that Doak now owns. So for him, he wanted to get his income up so he could go and prepare for his retirement by buying rental property. This is David Laster. David works for Aflac. He used to anyway. And he was a middle of the pack salesperson. Aflac has 60,000 sales reps. I got him to number 45. That's President's Club. David now is 50 years old. He has the skills for the rest of his life. So as you're listening to me right now, you've got a nice career in front of you. And what I'd like to do is essentially provide you the equivalent of a college degree in sales for $25 a month, virtual professional training, very similar to what I'm doing with Lois. So I'd like to just simply extend an invitation. I created a new program recently, and the program is called Work From Home Mastery. And this course is designed to teach you the technology tools that you need. It's designed to teach you how to sell over the phone or how to sell using technology. It's designed to put you in a great mindset, even though we're in challenging times. It's a 3-week course, and I'm 1.5 weeks in. So you'd be coming into the middle of the course. Here's the good news. The first 3 sessions were recorded. So it's just like Netflix. It's on-demand learning. What I can tell you, the first 3 sessions, they were amazing. And you can go through and self-study and go through that. And then the next course, it's tomorrow at 5 o'clock, California time. And if you can't make it, it's going to be recorded. And then next week, we have 2 more live courses, next Tuesday and next Thursday at 5 o'clock. If you can't make it, you do the recording. Then the second course, let me tell you a little bit more about that. Work from Home Mastery is $497. It's not what you're going to pay tonight, but that's the retail price. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we've got a 1.5 weeks left in that course. It's teaching you how to keep a positive mindset using the tools. I just mentioned all this, how to pivot your sales message, how to prospect online. The second course is my lifetime sales training, similar to getting a college degree in sales. We train every week, and every week it's a different topic. It's kind of like this Zoom. We don't do Zoom. It's a similar technology. So you're going to have access to train with me live every week for the rest of your life. That's a one-time payment of $299. It's not what you guys are going to pay tonight. Lifetime membership. So after you go through Work from Home Mastery, you put me on your success team for a lifetime of training. And then I have a course I did in the past called Social Media Mastery. We're going to give you that in recording. We're going to teach you how to do Facebook, but through the lens of how to use Facebook to make more sales. YouTube, how to use YouTube to make more sales. How to use LinkedIn to make more sales. How to publish content to make more sales. How to get published on Amazon to make more sales. And how to do webinars like what you're on right now to make more sales. So those are the courses. This comes with, the total value is $1,293. And I'm going to give you a special offer if you sign up tonight. It's a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. The discount's $994. So it's a one-time payment. You get all 3 courses, lifetime of sales training for $299, or you can do $25 a month. So you do $25 tonight, $25 a month, total of 16 payments. So I want to do something a little extra special, and we're going to do this as soon as our Zoom's done here. And this is on the honesty policy because some of you are watching the replay and some of you are on here live. So on the honesty policy, if you sign up in the next 10 minutes, I'll give you an extra $100 off and a 30-minute one-on-one coaching session with me. So it's $199, lifetime of professional training with me, or 12 payments of $25. If you do the math, 12 times 25 is $300. So you save $101 if you pay it all up front, or if you want to have the cash flow, then you can do the payments. You can pay with any major credit card or debit card. And here's how you sign up. You're going to go to bit.ly. It's all lowercase. It's case sensitive on bit.ly for some reason. So bit.ly/work from home mastery. You can sign up with any major credit card or debit card, Visa, American Express, MasterCard, Discover, or that's my cell phone. You can call or text me, and we can process your order over the phone. Or we do PayPal too, if any of you happen to have PayPal, but we have to do the PayPal. We do the order over the phone because the website's not set up to do PayPal. So those are the ways to register. What I'd like to do now is bring Lois on. And Lois, if anybody has any questions, if you want to facilitate a Q&A, if there's anything that you want to share, I'm happy to stay on the line here for a little bit. So let me turn it over to you.
You are awesome. As we do now in Zoom land, I'm just going to give you an ovation applause.
Thank you.
I'm learning that. So if anybody else wants to do that, feel free. So anyway, thank you so much for that. And just, I guess really quick, because I don't want to make this about me. I already shared with people how much Eric has changed, impacted my life. I've been in real estate. I've been in network marketing. I've been in all these different industries. And of course, all the companies, they have their own training that was awesome, but they didn't talk about sales scripts. There's so much lacking in every company's training. So I happily invested in working with Eric, now multiple times over, and he's literally changed my life and my paradigm on so many levels. So I'm going to see if anybody has any questions at this point. Does anybody want to come off mute and ask a question? It's your opportunity.
I have a question, Lois, or for Eric.
Awesome.
When you say lifetime coaching, in my mind, you could have 1,000 clients or customers. How do we get to talk to you for a lifetime? Is it one-on-one, or is it that you have classes that we can be a part of? What does that $199 really entail?
Yeah, that's a great question. Let me pull up the Silver Protege website that explains the offer. Protege.com. Okay, let me do it this way. Saleschampion.com. There we go. All right, so programs here, Silver Protege. This explains the offer here. There's 12 professionally recorded modules covering lead generation, appointment setting, trust and rapport, closing, etc. And you can go through that course in self-study. And then we do a live training, just like the training that you're on with me right now, once a week. And that's Thursday at 4 o'clock California time. All those calls that we do, they're recorded. And each week it's a different topic. So we might do how to grow your business on Facebook. So if you're interested in that, you come to the Facebook class. It might be a class on closing. If you're interested in that, you come to the closing class. So you have access to live trainings that happen every single week. And I have a community that's supported by a Facebook group. There's a little over 2,000 members that are in that community. You can go into the Facebook group at any time and ask questions. In addition, every week that we do the live calls, oftentimes we do live Q&A. So you can come on there and ask questions. You also have access to me via my cell phone, which is what I put up here. If you have a question, you can text me directly. So those are the different ways that you have access to me and all the training that's included for 12 payments of $25. All right. Anybody else have a question that they'd like to ask?
Hi, Eric. This is John. I noticed you went to your Silver Protege page. Now, I did purchase a Silver Protege membership, and I'm just trying to get into using it here. So is that essentially what the offer is?
If you're already a Silver Protege, then you would not need to re-sign up. You're already a lifetime member.
That's what I thought.
If you have any questions, a good thing to do, you can text me and I can have my assistant reach out to you, or just come into the Silver Protege Facebook group. You can type in any questions that you have.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Anybody else?
I just want to reiterate too, because this is something that really blew my mind. I've never met a more generous coach, and I'm working diligently to be a, like Eric when I grow up, and being able to help people in this time at just $25 a month, when he's worked with Tony Robbins, Les Brown, and I've always paid at least $500 a month for coaching, and didn't even get probably 1/10 of the stuff that he gives of value. So I'd say if you can, give it a shot, and you have the money back guarantee, right?
Yeah, the program comes with a 30-day unconditional money back guarantee.
Perfect. Anybody else have any other questions before we wrap it up?
Could I postpone the membership a bit, because I just found out I have a huge concert in 2 weeks. So I'm not going to be doing anything but practicing for 2 weeks. Is there any way?
It's a lifetime membership, and everything that we do is recorded. And so we do it live, just like what you're on right now. This is all live right now. It's also being recorded. And so the modules can all be gone through in self-study. And
Right.
I have a very specific system that I train you on, and you can just go through it at your own pace. And so just a simple way for all of you to think about this, to kind of just conceptualize what I'm offering, is if you went and got an accounting degree in college, or a teaching credential, or whatever, if any of you have a whatever your degree is in, this is the equivalent of a college degree in sales if you went on like an online curriculum like a University of Phoenix, but it's just done through my company at this incredibly low price point. And the only reason I'm able to do it at that price point is I'm leveraging technology. And so if I was to coach you one-on-one and train you on all that I put together in the system, it'd probably be about a $10,000 investment. But because I've documented the whole thing, you can go through at just incredibly affordably to do this. And so that's what the offer is. And it does have a 30-day guarantee. So if any of you invest the $25, like, hey, this isn't for me, then just credit you back the $25, no problem.
And knowing you, Kathy, I know with what you charge in your own business, anybody, you can just think of how many sales would it take me to recoup that $25 in the next 30 days. And if I can help keep you accountable and support you and be your number 2 cheerleader, I'm here for you. Or maybe number 3.
Tell you guys kind of a crazy text that I just got. And Lois, you probably know of or heard me talk about R.V. Robinson before.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to just pull up her instantprospeaker.com. See if I can get her here. Nope, R.V. Robinson. There we go. So this is R.V. here. She's one of my clients. She's been a client for many, many years.
Could you share your screen?
Yeah, let me go back there, share screen. So this is RV, and RV hasn't in the past been that strong with virtual sales. And so one of the things that I encouraged her to do was a one-day virtual seminar, and she did it today. And I just got this text in, and I don't know if it's backwards, if you can read it or not, but I'm going to tell you what that says. This came in at 7:43, 17 minutes ago. Had my one-day virtual immersion today and made $10,641. She did that in one day today. So the thing about your sales skills, if you just imagine, you all know where your skills are right now on a scale of 1 to 10, how effective you are at sales. And if you just imagine what could happen to your results if you got better at selling.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, I have this concert. It's going to be a virtual concert on Facebook, and we're planning on asking for donations for the concert. Would you be able to help me learn how to do that?
I can give you what I would do if I was you as far as the sales strategy. And I'll just do a little extra thing because that's going to take me more than a half an hour to do that. So here's what I'm willing to do.
Okay.
I'm willing to spend an hour with you if you decide to sign up.
Okay.
And I'm not just going to do it for you. I'll extend it to anybody else that's on the call right now, because if I do it for you and I didn't do it for everybody. So if any of you take action in the next 10 minutes, text me, or you go on the website and you sign up, I'll spend an hour with you and I'll tell you what I would do on how I would get these donations. And I'm going to tell you something you probably have already thought about. Mm-hmm. The mechanism of how you collect the money is very, very important.
So, I know we were talking about that today. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And mechanism in this context is I'm making all of you an offer. You can sign up at a website. You can call or text me. So I'm giving you 3 clear ways in order to sign up. And oftentimes what people do is they lack clarity and how to communicate to the person to take the action. So getting your the mechanism on how they can donate set up is very, very important. And the story is very, very important. The story of why they should be, contributing this money. And so in a coaching session, I can tell you what I would do if I was you. Here would be my approach. This is the scripts. We can record the session if you want, and it'll give you, you preparing to maximize that opportunity is going to give you the best opportunity to get a winning result.
Okay. I'm in.
Awesome. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, no, I'm in. Definitely. Thanks.
Anybody else? Anyone have a question on how this might apply to you or how this could help you? Just unmute yourself if you like.